The data for the month of November finally just came out, and we have some very interesting numbers here coming directly from our MLS. We're going to be talking about sales prices. We're going to be talking about the number of sales that are happening, days on market for these current homes, and also how much homes are being negotiated on by buyers before being purchased and finally getting to that closing table. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into my screen here. We're going to take a look at this. As we do that, my name's Cody, your favorite Utah realtor. If you're thinking about making a move here and you want to buy or sell real estate, reach out to me. My information's here on the screen. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first thing I want to take a look at is the month of November, right? So this is the month that we're looking at here. If you see my other videos, this will look very familiar to you. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit, make this a little bigger. So for the month of November 2022, we had 2,170 sales. Now, if you saw my video prior to this, if you saw one of them, I said, hey, I think we're actually going to end up much lower than this. I was estimating based on what we had seen from about the middle of November that we would only have about I think it was like somewhere between like 1,300 and 1,500 home sales for the month of November. Well, there must have been some kind of glitch or something in the system because we did actually see this number increase substantially. So maybe some home listings, hadn't been updated yet, or I don't know exactly what the reason was, but we were expecting it to be much less based on what was reporting, but it is here at 2,170. Now, this is better than we were expecting based on what I had seen in that last video that we looked at, but it's still down substantially from the month of October. We're down almost 20% month over month from the month of October. Now, this is, to get a good sense of what's happening here, we need to go back and look at last year, right? So from October to November of last year, home sales were significantly higher. We were over double what they are today, but we only saw a very, very slight drop going from October to November. Now, again, last year was kind of a little bit of an anomaly because the market was crazy. But if we go back again, even a year further, October of 2020, 5,200 sales. And then November of 2020, we were at 4,500 sales basically. So this is a pretty common occurrence to see this drop going from October to November, but it shouldn't be this drastic. Even here we went down, what is that? Maybe about 10, that's about 12% drop month over month. But here we're over 20% drop in the number of sales, right? So sales are down substantially. We see this number continue to decline. June was at 4,000, July 3,000, August 3,000, September 35, and then 26, big drop there, and then into 2,170 here for the month of November. So if we take a look at this column right here, this is the median original listing price, what homes were actually listed for, and then this column right here is going to show us what homes are actually selling for. You also want to pay attention to this percentage right here. If you look at this, we saw homes actually being listed for roughly the same amount as in months prior, right? If we go back here, we're at 516, 519, 519, 519, 527, 524. So we're actually not even back to April data for the listing prices of homes on a median basis. However, the sales prices have come down substantially, right? Back here in April, we were at 530, 540. We did see, we peaked out at here at 540 and then it started to come down. Since then, we're flat for a couple months, September, October, and now we're at 480. So we're starting to see those effects of the increased interest rates over the past couple months. Interest rates really jumped up. They were already climbing, but for anybody who closed between, June, July, even August, maybe even the first half of September, they were still locking in, let's say high 4, low 5% range. Now they're pushing 6%, if not 7%, depending on your situation. So that has definitely changed, and we're starting to see the impacts of that here in the market today. We're also going to be talking some very interesting information about interest rates and what I think is going to happen. I'm actually changing my opinion on this a little bit, and I think it will be valuable to you guys. So I want to finish up here, but stay tuned for that. Make sure to keep watching. So the median sales price was 480. This is the number that you really want to pay attention to. So home sales are selling on average for about 8% less than what they're listed for. So if you look at this information being listed at 520, but actually selling for 480, home prices have come down substantially from those all-time highs. So, we were at 540. If we just look at this median basis, that's over 10%. I think that's pushing roughly 11, maybe even 12% of a drop from, these numbers, right? If we pull up the calculator I always do it backwards, 485. Yeah, so home prices have come down about 11% from their all-time highs, and we're now sitting at $480,000. But the important thing is that people are negotiating much more heavily when it comes to purchasing a home, right? If you see that house listed at $500,000, there's a good chance you could negotiate 8% off of that price. If you have a home listed at $1 million, you could negotiate 8% off of that home. Just based on the statistical data, this is what you're going to see. So if you're a buyer out there in this market, you definitely want to be negotiating very, very hard. And right now, everything is in your favor. You have the leverage when it comes to this. I do expect that we'll probably still see home sales and home prices continue to drop going into the next couple of months. The winter months are always slower, so there's going to be some seasonality there, but we're going to continue to see the effects of, higher interest rates hit the market, right? And this is going to continue to slowly bring prices down. I don't think we're going to see this big drop off. I don't think we're going to see a big cliff. And at some point, I think there's going to be a balance where a lot of people who are still sitting on the sidelines decide to jump into the market and purchase a home anyway, right? There's a lot of people who are still buying today. I'm still having dozens of people just like yourself reach out to me, say, hey, Cody, I'm moving there. I need to buy something. Please help me. But you also have a lot of people who are sitting on the sidelines kind of thinking, hey, I've got the freedom and the time to wait, so I'm going to do so. But as soon as prices come down and things start to stabilize, I think we're going to see a lot of those people start to jump into the market, and that's going to then buoy the prices that we're seeing, and it's going to kind of prevent prices from falling any further. So the last thing I want to look at here is the days on market. We're sitting here at 39, which again is higher than the month prior. We're at 36, but 39 is still not bad to see this number here. If we go back to, kind of pre-COVID times, we were at that same number, right? 36 here in December of 19, 39, 34, right? So days on market through the winter months to be sitting between 30 and 45 is not at all, a problem or anything concerning. I think this is totally, reasonable to see. The other thing I want to take a look at, if we come over here to my search feature, and I'm just going to search all available listings because this is something that I've been tracking very closely. The number of active listings, we're sitting here at 9,358. This number has been under 10,000 for a couple of months now. We were right up against that number. We're at about 9,900 active listings, but we've actually come down now. That means that sellers are not selling, or the homes that are on the market are actually going under contract and still selling. So we're seeing less inventory actually come to the market. And I've got numerous clients who are kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect home to come up in a specific area or neighborhood or price range. And those homes are just not quite yet popping up. So again, I think that's going to continue to buoy the market as far as prices go. Now, let's get back over to what I was going to talk about before, where I wanted to talk to you about the interest rates and what's happening with that. So I've been thinking a lot about this and what's going to happen with interest rates going into the next 6 months, 12 months, even 18 months. I think that we've actually recently seen a pullback from the Federal Reserve saying, hey, inflation is still happening, but now is the time that we're going to slow down the pace of the increase of the federal funds rate. Now, the federal funds rate is not directly tied to mortgage interest rates, but it does kind of act as a indirect marker for what's happening in the economy. And if the economy is not in a great spot, well, then interest rates could be higher, right? That's kind of, a roundabout way of putting it. So, if we're still increasing that federal funds rate and that's continuing to increase, I think we're going to be in a spot where inflation is still out there. It's not going to come down as quickly as I think a lot of people are expecting. We're not going to see it come down as quickly as it went up. And I think this is going to be a big shock to the market. I think we're going to see kind of this long drawn out process. The more and more I think about this, the more I think that this could be something that lasts, 6 months, 12 months, maybe even 18 months into the future before we start to see those inflation numbers come down substantially. And thus in conjunction with that, start to see those interest rates come down as well. So I actually think that interest rates, as soon as we get good signs, hey, inflation is cooling off, the Federal Reserve is not increasing their Fed funds rate anymore. As soon as we see that, I do think we'll actually see mortgage rates come down slightly, but I don't expect a huge drop for at least another 12 to 24 months. I don't think it's going to be next year sometime when we get back to like 5, maybe even in the 4% range on interest rates. I think it's going to take longer than that. I think it'll easily be into 2024, if not 2025, before we really start to see those interest rates come back down. So that being said, I think if you're looking at refinancing, you need to be careful about that. I've had a couple people commenting saying, yeah, hey, you could always refinance in the future, but if the value of your home comes down, you might not be able to, depending on how much money you put down up front. So that's something to consider there. There's also some other things to consider with refinancing. You probably shouldn't plan on being able to do this in maybe 12 months. I would probably plan out at least 18 to 24 months before that lower interest rate kicks in. If you're thinking about this for the long term, it's probably not going to make a huge difference for you, but it is something that you should think of and, kind of just having your financial plan for being able to purchase a home. Now, if you're a home seller out there in the market, right now, guys, honestly, I'd say now might be kind of one of the times to sell. If you're a home seller in this market, home prices are coming down. Interest rates are not going to be getting significantly better anytime soon. So if you're thinking about selling a home, I'd probably do it sooner than later. The people who are looking for a home right now are motivated and they're serious, and there's a good chance you'd be able to get a good offer on your home. You might have to price it a little bit more aggressively than you would like to, but if you're really serious about trying to sell the home, then that's something that you should just in my opinion, kind of just jump in and do, cut the loss, cut the energy and the time that you're going to put into trying to sell your home for top dollar, because it might not be worth your time. If you just go out there, you price your home aggressively, you get it on the market, and you're in a position where you can sell that home quickly, you're going to save a ton of time and headache and, having to show the home for 3 or 4 months only to have to end up dropping the price even further in the long run. So that'd be kind of my pricing strategy. As always, guys, if you're thinking about making a move here, reach out to me. If you want to buy or sell real estate, I'd love to be your trusted real estate resource when it comes to buying or selling here in Utah. My team and I service the entire state. So no matter where you're looking, let me know, and I'd love to help you. I've had literally hundreds of people from across the world reach out, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. Don't forget to share this video with a friend, a family member, maybe a spouse who's interested in this type of content as well. And with that said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.